morning, everyone, or afternoon, everyone, wherever you are. We can get started, guys. So, first of all, this meeting is being recorded. Those of you who are joining in for the very first time, just a little heads up. We generally have this kind of webinar by end of the month, wherein we can talk about the new stuff that we have brought in Xenett. All right. So after the meeting, we will also be sharing this recording to all of you as well as all of those who were not able to make it. So uh, they can also kind of see what new stuff that we have brought on. All right. I'm going to share my screen and then we'll go through what all new things that we have released in the month of June. Okay. So the very first thing that we have rolled out, and that's an improvement with the to-do module. So with the to-do module, we have added this ability where you should be able to create new views. Uh, the way it's gonna help you is that if you have applied different filters, and if you want to then save the view with those applied filters, you can now do it. So previously, let's just say if you wanted to see the task created by you or task completed by you or task overdue, you can click it. But the very next second, if you go into any other screen, you will lose those filters, right? Because imagine if you kind of applied different filters here, you applied it, even it got you the necessary result. But the moment you leave that screen, you're going to lose all of those filters, right? So now we have given this ability where you should be able to create a new view and you can apply the filters as well. So take an example, okay? So let's just say, I mean, see, by default, I'm in a default view that gives me a list of all the client tasks that I'm assigned to. Now, in this particular case, I wanted to create a view that shows me all the overdue tasks. So here is what I can do. I can just say overdue task, and then I can decide whether it's a from view or it's a my view. If you select from view, that means that everyone in your firm will be able to see that view. Okay. If you say my view, that means that view is just be seen by you only and not anyone else. And then you just click on save, right? So once you do that, so right now you are now into this view. You can like apply all those filters here, or you can even choose any of these filters. Like you can say that, hey, overdue, but then only show me the ones where I am assigned. So you can even apply that filter as well. You can even say that only show me the one that are with the urgent priority or with this tax or this client, all of those different things that you can apply, and then you just click on apply, and accordingly it will show you that task, right? Now as you guys keep updating your filters, you're gonna see this, there's some unsaved changes, right? So if you want to then update your view with those new filters that you applied, just click on save. So now whatever changes that you've done will also be updated for to that particular view. Now, what's going to happen? Let's just say if you go into any of the client. So if I see any of the client and go to the to-do module, you will find that view like everywhere. So it's not like whatever, I mean, it's not like if you create the view, it will only stay with that particular client. It's like a sitting at the top. So whatever client that you are logging into, you will find that particular view, right? So in this particular case, right now I'm into this client. If I click here on overdue task, it will use those filters and it will show me all the overdue tasks for that particular client. So again, this was just an example. You guys can use different filters. You guys can create then custom views and you can save it, right? So now it's going to be very, very handy. Previously, because this was not there, every time you wanted to pull up some sort of information, you always had to spend time applying those different filters, right? So that's one thing. Now another thing with this is that you can also make this as a default view. So what this means is that, let's just say it says mark as default. Okay, now every time you go to the to do module, you will directly land on that particular default view, right? So if you had not done that, like if you had not done that, then you would generally land here, which is a very first one, that is a default Xenett view. But now you can also create your own custom views and you can also mark it as default. And every time you get in, you'll land on that particular view. So that's a number one feature that we have introduced, that was about the creating views for to do. Okay. All right. Let's just move to the next one. All right. Permanent files and working files in close mode, right? Now, in this particular case, if we go to the close, in the files column, you will now see an option to attach permanent as well as working files, right? I mean, permanent files was there, but it was in a different form before. So like you click on the task name, and then here at the bottom, you'll attach the file. And then, so all we do is like we just change the little layout. So all we do is that, okay, now you have just one column for the files. If you wanted to attach any permanent files, you just attach it here, and permanent file will roll forward every time you kind of start a new close. And if you are attach any files as permanent, those files will roll forward with those closed tasks. The working files will be only specific to the close, correct? So the good example of that is that, let's just say if you have a loan contract or some sort of amortization schedule for any sort of loan, you can attach it to the loan account itself. So every time you start the new close, you will find that document attached to that particular loan account, right? So that's like a permanent file. The working file could be like, let's just say if you attach some sort of screenshot for bank statement, like, hey, this is the balance as per books, this is balance as per bank account. So that is just specific to that particular close only. So anyways, the point is that we have changed the experience. Now permanent files and working files will stay together, okay, in a files column. So that was a new improvement that we have done. All right, the third thing, this is for the zero users. So let me talk about that. So previously, drilling down in any particular account for zero client was not possible, right? I mean, you were only able to see the numbers as you are saying right now for zero. But now, when you click on any of this account, you'll now be able to see the transactions. You can also make the changes as well. So again, for zero users, this is something, a new addition that you guys can start using it. All right. And the fourth one is not that considerable, but again, I think it just came from the request from you guys. If you are really tracking the time in Xenett, the time estimate and the time tracking, okay, there you go. So it will show up here, right? I think it should also show the time tracked as well. But at the folder level, you can now see the total of all the estimate, like, hey, for this particular folder, this was the total estimate. So you can just see the total number at the kind of folder level. It should also show up for the time tracked as well. I don't know why it's not showing up, but this is something would also show up very soon. So that was again a small improvement that we have done. The configure review points to show YTD. Now, with the closing review point, so let's just say if we go to the close, there are some review points like, okay, right now we are in March close. And then when you click on uncategorized transactions, it will only show you the transactions for the March. But at times, there are certain review points where you want to see the year-to-date transactions, right? So in that particular case, you can click on config and just say always show year-to-date. Click on save. Now, it will not only show for the March, but the whole year itself, correct? So let's just say if you click on reload, it will now show you the transactions from January till March. So you can enable that option. So it's like every time I'm working on any particular close, it will show me the transactions for year to date. Let me just change the close real quick. And you have these options at the different review points level. So for example, if you are also looking at entries posted to parent account, you can also find it here. So it's not just limited to the uncategorized transactions, but the entries posted to parent, some of them in a way, right? So that's also now possible. All right. So now the next one is able to attach a document to the transactions. So in Xenett, previously attaching like uploading a new document to the transaction was not possible. We were only pulling it from the accounting system and you can view it. But now, if you have a document that you would like to attach to any of the transaction, you should be able to do that. So that, again, that is again a small addition that we have done it. All right. So that's like a very high level. I mean, we have been making a lot of changes behind the scene about the little things related to designs, fixes, performance thing. But these were the major things that we have rolled out during the month of June. All right. So that's like a whole summary. Now, let me just quickly, if you guys have any question from your end, I'm actually, you guys can unmute yourself as well. If you wanted to ask any questions, feel free. I'll be happy to answer uh, if there are any questions. So, or you can also leave chat. Let me just see if there are any chats. Okay, there is no chat as such. So that's it from me. So unless you guys have any questions, feel free to bring it up. I'll be happy to address them. Just as a quick roadmap items, we are right now working on sending a text. Let me just actually pull it up. Sending. So those of you who are using our client portal, so now, I mean, previously we there was only a way to send the reminders through email, but now you guys will be able to send the reminder through text messages as well, right? So that's one thing that's coming up shortly. Another thing that is coming up is a mobile app for client. I mean, our client portal is right now mobile responsive, but then we will also be rolling out the mobile app in July. So that's also gonna be there. The other thing that we will be rolling out will be yeah for especially this is helpful for admin people. So as your admin people, right? Sometimes you have access to all the clients, but not necessarily you want to get notified for, let's just say, close status change or anytime the client responses. Because if you are admin user, if you are assigned all the clients, typically you also get notified for every single such notifications, like when your client responds, when close status change. So now, as an admin users, you can then decide that, hey, which clients I want to get notified, which clients I don't want to get notified. So things like that will now be possible as well, right? So that's that. We are also working on some new notifications as well. So yeah, these are the most immediate ones that you guys can expect in month of July. So all right, in Q&A, let me just see if there's anything in there. Will the notes show from the prior period also? So I don't know, Beth, which exact note that you are referring actually.
I was referring to the notes when you were going to a prior period to that it was pulling all the transactions. Will the review
Yes.
notes that we made before be available also?
Yes, yes, yes. So review note will show up for prior period. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. So yes, 1099 is something we already started working on that. I know many of you have requested it, and finally we kind of started the work. So either you guys can expect somewhere by end of July or somewhere mid August. So in fact, the next big thing that we are also working on is reporting, the interactive reporting. We have been doing a lot of brainstorming around it. So with that reporting module, you can now decide to publish financial statements to client on their portal. your client can look at it, your client can drill down, your client can ask questions on that. So either you can do more like a live financials with them, or you can also say that, hey, I only want to give them a PDF file, or things like that. So you can basically should be able to share financials with your client through the portal. So that's like a big one. So we expect to, it's going to take a few months, like probably 2 to 3 months. So somewhere by end of Q3 is we plan to roll it out. So, all right, I think we are good to go here. Thank you very much, guys, for joining in. We will certainly send you the recording. And yeah, if there are any wish list, I mean, do send it to us. We work with you guys. We want to make sure we take care of your request. So let it come, and happy to work on them. So thank you very much, guys. Take care, and you guys have a lovely weekend ahead. Thanks, guys. Bye.